I've recently had to, I guess, read the toughest scene from the Classroom of the Elite light novels, and that scene dealt with Ichinose and Kiyotaka. And so this video is just me describing how I feel about their relationship because I recently finished book 4.5, and this is where this scene came from. If you guys don't know what scene I'm talking about, it's Ichino says she was crying, and I was spoiled for this scene. I didn't really know what was going on, the context, but I could conclude that it was either number one, she was crying because she got rejected, number two, she was crying because she got expelled, or number three, she was crying because somebody else got expelled. So like I said, I'm just going to talk about this scene, how I feel about it, just give my thoughts. And yeah, so like I said, I'm all the way up to year 2 volume 5. That's what I'm currently on. You guys will get the reviews for 3, 4, and 5 eventually, right? I can't just post them all in like 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever, because it take a lot of time and effort to do. They're long videos, they take a lot to edit, take a lot to prepare. So you guys, you'll get them when you get them, alright? Don't rush me. But there is some irony behind this confession. I like how in, I believe it was book 2, where Ichinose had the scene where she was getting confessed to, and how Kiyotaka told Ichinose that she had to listen and accept the confession, and decide what she was going to do after that, saying that confessions are hard because people have anxiety and that they're constantly waiting, be like, yo, does this person like me back? And it's on their mind constantly, and they don't know how to feel about it. So the fact that she confessed to him, after all, like, he explained to her about how she should be able to handle confessions, it's kind of ironic. I knew this was going to happen eventually because she was eventually going to have to confess to him, and eventually she would have found out about Kay. And narratively, without like being biased or anything, I think Kiyotaka and Kay, that they work better. If I had to give the relationship like a scale or a rating, I'd give them a 10 out of 10, where Ichinose would probably be an 8 out of 10. And the reason for that is, do I think that Ichinose can do the dirty and the underhanded stuff that Kiyotaka orders Kay to do? No, and the reason for that is because Ichinose just has that personality that she's very nice, and she doesn't do anything to take advantage or get a one-up on people. She doesn't look out for herself, which I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. But I don't think Kiyotaka did anything wrong, right? He likes who he likes. He goes out with who he likes. It just sucks that Ichinose tried to confess after he already had a girlfriend. Would he have went out with her if he didn't? Who knows, right? They're in different classes. A lot of stuff could happen. And, you know, maybe if she was in class D, it would be different. But there's also this scene that happened with Ari. This may be in book 5. I don't remember. But Haruka, she's talking about, like, yo, you didn't take Ari's feelings into account. Like, what you gotta take her feelings into account for, right? You, like, he can go out with whoever he wants, and I don't think that he has to take into account how other people feel about it. You like who you like, right? That's just how relationships work. So I'm going to summarize pretty much what happened. This spans from the end of book 3, a little bit of book 4, and then book 4.5. So Ichinose in book 3 on the island, she was lost, her watch got broken, and she ended up overhearing Tsukishiro talking about Kiyotaka, talking about the White Room, talking about getting him dropped out, where she ended up being spotted. She tried to run away, where Tsukishiro, he threatened her, saying, yo, if you tell anybody about this, I will have people from class, I guess, what class were they back then? I think they were class C back then. He said I would have them expelled, where she ended up didn't say anything. But then in book 4, it was nagging her, where she had to tell him. She found him towards the end of the book, and she was like, yo, I feel like a bad person because I betrayed my class, and I ended up telling you like that you're gonna be expelled. And you know, she turned on her classmates, and she did it all because she liked him, where she ended up running to him. She was looking for him for like constant hours of the day. She ran to him. She ended up falling on him. They ended up like in this little hug. It was actually kind of cute because, you know, he was holding her up because of how tired she was. And she ended up saying, yo, I like you. And then he was like, you know, okay, you know, what did you just say? Like, if I heard it wrong, you can take it back. But if what you're saying for real, and she was like, yeah, I 100% like you. And he was like, well, I can't answer you now because of the situation. I can't accept or deny it. Where she was like, okay, you know, I'll wait for your response, which kind of goes into book 4.5, where they interacted a lot. She was kind of avoiding him a little bit, was a little bit bashful. It was hard for them to interact when they were about to talk about what happened with the scene. I don't know what he was going to say, if he was going to try to finesse his way to keep her around, or if he was going to actually tell her the truth. But Nagumo put him on blast and was like, yo, you're going to Kawazawa because the third year's, spoiler alert, like I said, this is all the way year 2, book 4.5. Kiyotaka, he ended up knocking Nagumo out, causing him to lose in the event that they were participating in, the special exam. And so he had ordered the third years to kind of stalk Kiyotaka. So Kei, she was out with Sato. They were talking about announcing that they were going out. And so she was overheard by the third years, where Nagumo exposed him. And, you know, that made Ichinose sad because, you know, the way that he didn't sugarcoat it, right? So instead of, you know, kind of sliding in there or like denying her like in a normal way where she wouldn't be upset. I mean, she probably still would have cried, but Nagumo put everything on blast and it all came out once, where Ichinose was so sad she cried and ran off. Where Kiyotaka, if I had to like rank girls in terms of popularity, the 3 most popular in his years probably Kushida, Kawazawa, and Ichinose. And a lot of people mention like Ichinose is so popular, like most people want to go out with her. You could say the same with Kawazawa and the same with Kushida. So Kiyotaka, he has some popular girls who are fiending for him, but they still haven't talked about this. This confession happened like in the middle of book 4.5, and like I said, I'm on book 5. I've read only like 40 pages though. They still haven't talked about it. But like I said, I wonder what would have happened how this scene would have happened differently if Nagumo didn't interfere. Would it have been as bad? What would he have done differently? But they have to make up at some point. They were really close before all this happened. If I had to say which girls he was the closest to, it's probably Kei, Harita, and Ichinose, because she's an important tool for him. Just like Ruin and Saki and Naki, other classes are important tools to him. Just look at how he used Ruin and Saki and Naki to help benefit him on the island test. And she has a lot of trust in him, right? There was a scene with Kenzaki where she was like, I trust Kiyotaka. Even when Kenzaki was a little bit worried and like distant and trying to really figure out Kiyotaka, she didn't really care about any of that. Granted, that was because she liked him. Will that remain the same? Who knows? I do want to say though, when it comes to harem, slice of life, rom-coms, I don't ever get the girl I want. I really don't, right? Like for example, Toradora, I didn't want Taiga to go out with them. See, I wanted to be Kawashima. The recent anime that's coming out is called My Stepmom's Daughter Is My Ex or something like that. There was the girl, I think she had like green hair. Her name is Isana Higurashira. I wanted her, but that didn't happen, right? And then there's this anime. It's really good, the Quintessential Quintuplets, right? My favorite girl is Ichika. There's currently a movie that is out in Japan. It's probably not gonna release to the States till like November, December, so do not spoil it for me who he ends up marrying, because I'm gonna be very mad. But basically the 5 sisters, they all like their tutor. And then Ichika, I don't care what, like, you guys can get mad at her all you want, I don't care, right? She's still my favorite. What she did was grimy, but I think because she puts others first, that she deserves her happiness. But she probably ain't gonna get picked because, well, I like her, so that's why she's not gonna get picked. And it's not this like, it's shonen that this happens too, right? Like Code Geass, I didn't get the girl I wanted, and probably in Black Clover I'm not gonna get the girl I wanted. Y'all have been rocking me for a long time. Y'all know Ichinose, I consider her to be the best girl. It goes Kiyotaka, Ichinose, Kawazawa, my top 3. They probably will never change. And eventually I'll do a character analysis on her. I got so much Classroom Elite videos I have planned in the future. But the reason why I like her so much is because of how much I relate to her. She puts everybody before herself, and at an alarming rate, to the point where she's willing to be expelled before anybody else in the classes. And that's like me, right? Like, I'm not a saint, but I do try to put others before me, which is that a good thing? I don't know. I think that's the iron in the beholder. I'm not a people pleaser. I just try to make sure that other people are happy because it makes me happy, right? But also Ichino says she's never experienced love, and her first love is someone she can't have. I find that kind of sad, right? Unless they break up, but that's probably not going to happen. We're going to talk about some of the moments before year 2, book 3, or book 4, whenever she confessed, and how close they are. In book 2, she ended up faking being a couple with Kiyotaka in order to save Sakura. The scene where Sakura was getting sexually assaulted, that's actually how it went in the light novel. They ended up faking being a couple and, you know, walking up to him kind of casually, and that's how they were able to scare him off. In scene 9, or book 9, there was a scene where he listened to her story and how she was able to vent to him, and he gave his thoughts about it, where she opened up to him where nobody else she could do it to. And she also gave him chocolates, right, for Valentine's Day. She never gave anybody else chocolates before. He also in return gave her a white day gift. He picks her up whenever she has self-doubts about her leadership, her class, and that she doesn't know what to do. She started wearing more perfume around him. There was also the scene in book 11 and a half where they were in his room, and he started, like, he put his hand on her cheek, he like touched her lips and all of that, and he said that within a year or next year, let's do this again or continue where we left off. So yeah, they've had a couple moments together where they've interacted, and they're just showcases how close they are. So I'm trying to figure out what the next move's going to be. Like I said, what would have been different if she was in class D? Would he still have went out with Karuzawa? Who knows, right? How is he going to make this up to her? I wonder if class B is going to hate him, because in books 3 and 4 and even 4.5, they were trying to get them together, talking about how she's constantly talking about him. And in book 4.5, they invited him to a girls only party and made him sit next to Ichino. So that's just funny, right? How are they going to interact from now on? Because sometimes, like, in real life, I've experienced this firsthand. Like, if you confess to one of your friends, it's not going to be the same, right, the relationship necessarily. So I want to see how that's going to happen, because they do have a good relationship. I just want to see how that's going to play into a factor for the rest of the series. But let me know how you guys feel about this in the comment section below. Like I said, I was really sad. I knew it was going to happen. It was hard for me to read, but hey, I had to push through. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell to get a new video from it. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.